Coming up here on 4 Verts, we're going to get into some preseason week 2 reaction. I want to talk about 3 quarterback situations, 4 quarterbacks in total, as this is a QB-centric show. But speaking of quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford is back-ish. He was at practice today, did participate in team drills. He was in pads, which was a good sign. But then Sean McVay after practice said this and kind of gave reason for pause again. He said, we're going to keep it a day. We're going to keep it a day and really a week at a time, he says. We'll see how the afternoon goes, and tomorrow we're getting a grasp of this. He's doing everything in his power. It's a very fluid situation that demands flexibility. So certainly a good sign that he was out there practicing today. But this just seems like a situation that's not going away. This seems like a situation that this back, you're talking about a 37-year-old quarterback, you're having back issues, you had to get an epidural to help manage the pain. It's not going to be fixed. I mean, it could even be something that has been recommended to get surgery, but he's hoping to push that off. So, if he's healthy, I still think he'll play well. But what happens the first time a 300-pound defensive lineman lands on his back? What happens when Micah Parsons cracks him on a blindside blitz? These are the questions I have about Stafford. So I think, like McVay said, this is literally a one-day-at-a-time situation. They're going to clearly manage his workload throughout the season and try to get him through these games. And it's a tough situation for L.A. because they view themselves, and I think rightfully so, as Super Bowl contenders. If Stafford is healthy, that's the big if. Can he get through this season? Could they start him on short-term IR and try to just get through the first 4-6 weeks with Jimmy Garoppolo? Certainly an option, but again, is putting him on ice for 6 weeks, is that going to heal his back? That doesn't seem like a super likely scenario. So kind of an ongoing situation. I think it's going to linger all year. But if you're the Rams, you kind of just cross your fingers and hope he can avoid the major injury, which would knock him out. Okay, speaking of a quarterback situation, the Browns have named Joe Flacco, the ageless wonder, their starter for week 1, which was to be expected. And I started looking at their schedule. I was like, okay, what's a natural kind of point where you would go to one of the young guys, that being Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders? I mean, look, it's rough sledding early going. I mean, look at those first 6 weeks, right? I mean, Bengals, tough. At Baltimore, really tough. Packers, tough. At Detroit, Vikings in London. At Pittsburgh, the Dolphins, that's a winnable game at home. So was at New England. Then you got the Week 9 bye. Is that kind of where you could see a shift? Week 10 at the Jets, that would be early November, mid-November. Is that when you would make the switch to go to Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel? That seems like a natural spot. I mean, you'll probably be 2-7, or something like that at that point in time, 2-6, whatever the case may be, come week 10. Now, look, obviously, the Browns are hoping that Joe Flacco surprises and plays some good ball, but I would be surprised if he play well enough where they're, hovering around 500. I would say if they're around 500 or better, obviously they're going to keep trotting them out there. But if not, I would imagine by early mid-November, either Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders gets a shot, assuming they're both on the 53. That's kind of the next thing they got to figure out. Are they cutting Kenny Pickett? Are they cutting Shedeur Sanders? Gabriel's going to be on the roster. Do they carry 4 quarterbacks? That's kind of the next wrinkle here of what they do there. But to me, I would be shopping Kenny Pickett, and I would try to get him out of there, and I would keep Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders on the 53 and kind of let those guys battle it out behind the scenes for that QB2 role, so when that opportunity does come, one of those guys gets a chance. Okay, who plays first? What say you? Type DG for Dillon Gabriel or SS for Shedeur Sanders. I think Shedeur's the better prospect, but I will say this, Gabriel I thought played decent the other night until he threw that awful pick 6. DG for Gabriel or SS for Sanders. All right, guys, if you want to support the channel and enjoy NFL and college football videos all season long, every single day, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button here on 4 Verts. We're 133 subs away from 11,000 here on the channel. Some increased interest on our recent videos. We appreciate you guys. Continue to spread the word, and if you haven't, please do subscribe. It helps us out quite a bit. Okay, let's get to some preseason reaction from week 2. Three things I want to hit on. Let's start with Caleb Williams, what felt like a super anticipated build-up to this debut under Ben Johnson last night, and he played pretty damn well. I mean, 6 of 10, but really 3 of the 4 completions were 2 of them he had to basically throw away. He had to dirt a screen once, and he got flushed out and had to throw one at Olamide Zaccheaus' feet. Rome Odunze had a drop in there. Then I thought he threw kind of an off-target ball on a check down to his running back. But that first drive, straight down the field, was throwing the ball with confidence. Good play design by Ben Johnson as well. Through the slant to Zaccheaus for the long touchdown. PFF had him graded as the 4th highest quarterback in the NFL from preseason week 2. And remember, most teams play 3 or 4 quarterbacks each week in the preseason, so a lot of guys to filter those grades through. You see the adjusted percentage, sure, 6 of 10, 60%, but adjusted 77.8. That factors in the Rome drop and the fact that he had to dirt a couple of passes. And I think what really stood out to me, and probably most people, is playing within the offense, because we know Caleb can make the play after the play, extend plays, hero ball, keep a play alive, but can he just run an offense? And that was the big question, is how will Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson marry up their skill sets? Ben Johnson's offenses with Jared Goff are all about timing, playing within structure. Now, part of that is just Jared Goff can't move, so you have to have that type of an offense. But if Caleb can continue to grow as a pocket quarterback, getting the ball out, he got the ball out of his hands with 2.6 seconds average time to throw. Last year, he only did that once out of 17 games with that time or less. So I thought there were good signs of growth there. Obviously, it's the preseason. Don't want to make too much of it, but the arm talent really pops. I mean, if he can grow as a pocket guy with all the extracurriculars he can do, him and Ben Johnson meshing together could be a pretty damn good partnership. So I thought he checked a lot of boxes last night. Okay, Colts QB competition now, as Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones continue to duke it out. Obviously, one more preseason game here. Unclear if Shane Steichen will name a permanent starter before the Colts preseason finale, but Daniel Jones against the Packers, 7 for 11, 102 yards. He was fine, overthrew a deep ball. That would have been a big completion. No surprise there. Anthony Richardson, 6 for 11, 73 yards, threw a beautiful deep ball where he got flushed left, squared his shoulders, and launched one downfield down the right sideline. You see this throw, and you're just like, God, this is why people can't quit this guy, because he just makes throws that not many human beings can make. But the problem is he does that on both ends of the spectrum. He'll wow you, and then he'll wow you of like, what the hell was that? Like he and he'll do it within the same game, within the same drive sometimes. So he's kind of maddening to watch. But Shane Steichen did say that he's very close to picking a starting quarterback. My gut feeling is he's going to pick Daniel Jones. Richardson in that first preseason game, the pinky gets dislocated. He doesn't identify the hot blitz there. Jones, while he hasn't popped, he's been a little bit more consistent. I would start Richardson because, to me, if you start Jones, it almost feels like there's no going back. Like, Richardson got benched last year. If you start him as the QB2 this year, like, you're kind of running out of time here. I would just start Richardson. And if it's ugly through a month, then, well, you gave him the opportunity. And I feel like this competition is close enough. Why not go with the high upside young guy? What is the best case scenario with Daniel Jones? Probably what you got out of Gardner Minshew 2 years ago and you were a 9-win team. That's great. Sure, that might keep you your job if you're Shane Steichen, but I would rather swing big. I would rather see if I can unlock Anthony Richardson, even if it's a small chance, because I know Daniel Jones at best is a game manager. At best, that's what he is. Anthony Richardson, maybe he's never even just steady enough to be that. But maybe something pops. Maybe you find some things that work. Maybe you get him going in the run game, in the vertical passing game. A couple of things we know he actually can do fairly well. But my gut tells me they're going to go with Daniel Jones. What say you? Who should start? If you think it's Anthony Richardson, type AR. DJ, go Daniel Jones. I would go with Richardson. I think I'm always a proponent of taking a swing, especially when you know the other guy. Like, it'd be one thing if this was like Geno Smith or something. I don't think this is going to be the next Geno Smith for Daniel Jones. All right, Jaxson Dart. Got to hit on the young gunslinger in New York real quick as well. The 2 preseason games, got to tell you, he's looked pretty awesome. Playing some good ball. 26 of 35, 291, a couple of touchdowns. Very efficient, good QB rating there as well, attacking the middle of the field. And you see what Brian Daboll is doing with him. He's incorporating a lot of what Dart did well in college, almost some like RPO concepts. Like there was a shotgun play where he faked the toss and then he just fired over the middle. Basically an RPO, right? Like a very QB-friendly type of play. That's what he should do. Lean into what Dart does well, especially as he, kind of builds him up, builds his confidence up. And I was glad that Brian Daboll shot down the idea immediately, like, hey, could Dart start over Russell Wilson? Like, no, Russ is our starter. Like, this is smart coaching, and I hope the Giants' upper management don't screw this up. Let them develop Jaxson Dart. Because I think Brian Daboll is a pretty smart offensive mind. Yeah, you might stink this year. And yeah, Russell Wilson, there's clear limitations there. You're not going to go win 12 games. But can you win 6, 7, 8 games, be competitive enough while you develop this guy behind the scenes and he takes over either late this year or next year? That should be the game plan. What I would hate to see them do is they start 1-5, 1-6. They get Dart out there in October before he's ready, and then he just gets his teeth kicked in. We've seen it a million times in this league because these coaches, these GMs, especially these two guys, Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, they're under a lot of pressure to win. So I hope they can all get on the same page with ownership because you've seen the flashes early with Dart. It's like this guy's got some moxie to him. He can throw the ball accurately over the middle. He has nice touch. He runs with toughness. Like he fits New York to me. Like I like what I've seen out of him so far. Brian Daboll clearly loves him, but you can't sprint before you jog. And I just hope that John Mara understands that because I could see it now. They're 1-6. Get the young guy out there. He's not ready, John. I don't care. He plays like shit. They fire everybody. New staff comes in. They may not like Jaxson Dart. So I hope this goes the way it should because if it does, this could work. I think there's something developing here with Dart under Brian Daboll, but you can't force the issue. So I'm very eager to see the dynamics of all of that because the Giants drew, I think, either the toughest or the second toughest schedule in the NFL this year. So patience is going to be key up in New York, and that's hard in year 4 of a regime with the head coach and the GM. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this edition of 4 Verts. We are getting closer and closer and closer to the regular season. One more week of preseason games. Roster cut down day next week. Some trades are going to start to pop, so it should be a lot of fun. We will cover it all. Be sure to subscribe and join us for all of our coverage. We'll see you guys soon.